Welcome back to Cinecaps. Our movie today begins in Norway with a group of students, namely Thomas, Johanna, and their cameraman Callie. They are preparing to make a documentary about a suspicious bear hunter, Hans, who continues to hunt and kill bears illegally and without a permit from the government. That day, the government finds a dead bear. In the border town of Fold, this causes great concern among them, and this is because they only hear about hunting bears in the spring season. But the leader of the hunters appears in a television interview and says that the bear was not killed by bullets. And this is because every bone in its body was broken, and this means that the one who killed it was not a hunter, and it is possible that it died of some other unknown cause. At this point, Thomas and his squad try to find the address of Hans the fisherman, and after a long search, they learn that he lives in a car that comes from the homeless neighborhood. They go there, and when they arrive, Thomas starts asking Hans' neighbors about him, and one of them tells him that he goes out early in the morning. He comes back at the end of the day, and he is a crazy person and not a clean person, and this is because of the car he lives in. Hans is very angry with them and threatens to kill them if he sees them on his way again. But Thomas is not afraid of his threat and decides that he would rather watch him until he knows what he has seen, and he actually prefers Thomas. The one who is with me sees him in a deserted forest at night, so they go after him, hoping to catch him when he kills a bear. But while they are walking in the forest, they find footprints on the ground that look strange, and suddenly they find Hans coming towards them, screaming loudly and saying, "Troll!" And as soon as he says, "I will say that word," Thomas and the one who is with him hear a terrible sound comes from the forest, and an unknown creature attacks Thomas, biting him on the shoulder. Then the sounds disappear and the forest returns to its quiet. After that, Hans takes Thomas to his car and begins to treat him there. Then he and his friends take him and his friends back to their car, but when they see the car they are shocked because it is destroyed and there is liquid on it. It smells bad, and at this moment Hans confesses his truth to them and tells them that he is a hunter of trolls, not bears. But Thomas and those with him still do not know this, so Hansel tells them that trolls are huge creatures that are remembered in Scandinavian mythology, and that they are giant creatures that inhabit forests, caves, and plateaus, and live together in small groups. And that these creatures' goal is to destroy the human race, so he volunteered to kill any of them that appeared. But Thomas did not believe what Hans was saying and kept thinking that he was a crazy person. But Hans offered him and his friends to stay with him and film him killing these creatures, and then Hans and Thomas would leave. At the beginning of the forest, he and his friends ask him to wash their clothes in the lake next to the forest to get rid of their smell, and then wipe their bodies with the troll's saliva so that the troll will not attack them. So the young men follow Hans' orders, and then they go with him into the depths of the forest. Suddenly, as they walk, a three-headed troll attacks them and chases them through the forest to the end. Hans does not draw his weapon and turns it to stone. Afterwards, Thomas asks Hans what kind of weapon he is using, and Hans tells him that he has a weapon that emits very strong ultraviolet rays that can explode or petrify the troll. Johanna asks him if there is anyone else who knows anything about these troll monsters, and he tells her, "I think the government is aware of this matter, but they do not want the people to know anything, so as not to cause panic among them. That is why another group has been hired, spread all over Norway, so that if a monster appears, they will kill it before any of the inhabitants see it." Thomas asks him why he left. He informs them of the secret, so Hans tells them that he risks his life every night to kill these monsters, but the government pays him a very small amount to do so, and because of this he allows them to film so that the truth is known to all people, and suddenly someone named Finn arrives, and we learn that he is responsible for hiding the troll corpses and planting them in their place. When he sees where Thomas and his friends are while they are filming him, he becomes very angry and starts to shock Hans and tells Thomas that he will not allow him to publish these videos anywhere. But Thomas ignores this threat and continues his journey with Hans to contact him. The next day, Hans, Thomas, and the others go to a restaurant for breakfast, and he sits there. Hans talks to them a bit about trolls, telling them that they are very stupid creatures that eat everything in front of them, even humans, and that their lifespan is very long, possibly reaching 1,500 years. As stupid as they are also very vicious, because they can easily hide in mountainous areas and forests without anyone being able to determine his location. he continues his words and tells them that the body responsible for hunting these creatures is called the National Office for Hunting Monsters, and that officers from the Marine Corps are specially selected to work in this office and eliminate the troll monsters. And then Hans will take them and return to the car in which he lives. And there, he shows them the parts he has collected from the troll monsters he has killed throughout his life, such as oils, hair, and teeth, and tells them that his real pleasure is collecting these parts from every monster he kills. On the second day, Hans is informed that there are a large number of goat corpses on an abandoned bridge in the city. Thomas and the rest of the team are at the site and begin to investigate. He is able to discover that the one who killed these creatures is a fin man type of troll. This type is 5 meters tall and is considered to be one of the smartest and bravest types of trolls. This is because it does not hesitate to attack humans. For this reason, Hans decides to take a sample of its blood. He doubts that this monster is the one that attacked Thomas in the forest and bit him on the shoulder. At night, Hans brings a group of goats and ties them to the bridge to lure the troll. Then he puts on a metal suit and waits for the monster to come, and after a while the troll appears and attacks the goats and starts eating them, and then they try to escape. But Hans brings a bucket of blood and starts spraying it on the ground to distract the monster and make it come back. He actually does, and the monster comes back and attacks him again and starts hitting him until he faints and then runs away. So Thomas goes up to him and starts hitting him until he wakes up, and after he wakes up, Hans takes his gun and starts. He chases the monster and kills it with the blood sample. Then he and Thomas go to the lab and the doctor there asks him to analyze this sample immediately. But the doctor tells him that the result of this sample will take a few days to appear, so Hans agrees and leaves it and walks away. The next day, Hans receives a report about the appearance of troll monsters in several places. So he and Thomas decide to go to those areas to find out the truth about the appearance of the trolls there. They go to the first area and find a lot of broken things and the footprints of many trolls on the ground. After that they go to the second area, which is still a battlefield between the mountain trolls and the trolls. Hans searches the whole area for traces of the trolls, but unfortunately he finds nothing. After a while, the office calls Hans and tells him that the troll monsters have moved to a farm on the outskirts of town. They quickly head to the farm, and when they get there, they find it destroyed by the amount of monsters they passed, and Hans begins to search the entire area until he finds their hideout. The troll monsters returned while they were there, and their numbers remained very large. So Hans and his companions hid until the monsters were sleeping or walking, and Hans asked them to cover their bodies with troll scent so that the monsters would not be able to smell them. It kills them, but unfortunately the monsters smell the cameraman's scent and attack him and eat him in front of his friends, who take the camera from him and escape with Hans without even trying to help him. The next day, Thomas brings a new photographer named Malika, and they inform her that they are filming a recording of the troll, and they tell her that the mission is very dangerous, and you might die in it like the old photographer. But Malika remains brave and agrees to continue filming with them. After that, the office informs Hans that there is a troll from the giant Jotun faction that reaches a height of 1 meter. It appears in Finnmark's district, and Hans and Thomas go there when they arrive. They are surprised that the area where the monster appeared is completely destroyed, so he starts to search the whole area hoping to find it and finish the mission quickly. But he does not find it, and suddenly Thomas feels tired and exhausted. At this moment Hans gets a call from the lab doctor telling him that the blood sample he took from the monster is infected with rabies. So Hans is shocked because this means that Thomas is also infected with rabies, and this is because the monster bit him on the shoulder. And suddenly, while they were standing there talking, the giant monster appears and Hans takes them in the car and they try to escape with them. But unfortunately the monster hits the car and turns it over with them. So they all get out of the car and Hans grabs his gun and tries to kill it. A long fight with him is about to end, and suddenly, while they are celebrating their elimination of the monster, Finn arrives with a group of armed people, and at first Hans keeps thinking that they are coming to take the body of the troll. But Finn tells them that he is coming to kill them and kill the truth with them, and after saying that, he kills Hans as well as Thomas and Malika. And his faces try to escape, but unfortunately they die too, and so our movie for today is over. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification if you want to see other videos like this. Thanks for watching.